Hello and welcome to Vegan Bloomers. I am Luna, the founder. We are here to connect, inspire and learn. And today's star guest, we have Christine. So welcome, Christine.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us.
No worries.
So let's dive in and let me know how old you are, where you're based, and just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I'm 65 and I'm based in Peterborough in the UK. A little bit about myself, early years spent in the NHS, latter years with the Ministry of Defence, nothing special. I just worked in the officer's mess. Now I ghostwrite for other people. I'm also a, which is very important to me, is that I'm a medium and a healer and a vegan. And a vegan.
Of course, that's amazing. Like already we've got loads in common. I love all the spiritual side of things.
Yeah. And you know what? I think when you look at spirituality, that was a big part of veganism for me, because I only see animals as different people with furry coats on, and I believe that we all have a soul. So yeah, eating an animal is okay.
Absolutely. So let's go into your vegan journey then. So tell us when was it that you started your journey and
it was about 3 years ago with vegan. How do you say that word? Veganuary?
Oh, Veganuary.
Veganuary. Oh, you say it. So what happened was I'd been an absolute meathead for years and years, and I got sick. With gallstones.
Oh.
And it was then that I couldn't eat certain foods during that time. And when I realized what had come out of my body that was pure animal fat, because gallstones, that's your body's not being able to get rid of that animal fat. And so anyway, I initially went vegetarian, and I thought I was all wonderful, hey, because I'm a vegetarian. But I've got a wonderful friend called Nadine, and shout out to her, because she used to post stuff and I used to give it the little tick, but it was about the dairy industry. And there was one that I watched one day, and I'm not gonna, it was just, oh God, really? And I ticked it, and give it the cuddle. And I thought, what a bloody hypocrite. You're going to go in there and have a cup of tea with that milk, how dare you? And of course, it was coming round to January. So I thought, I'm going to give this a go, because I'm not going to last a month. I know I'm not going to last a month, because I love my coffee, milky. I love my tea, milky. Butter, big cheese head. And the rest is history. It was just that. It was seeing that, the dairy industry is absolutely as cruel as what the meat industry is. And I found oat milk. And I've got a massive cup of creamy oat milk coffee there. And that was the real thing that worried me, was that I wouldn't be able to get that taste. And I do think your palate changes,
Yeah.
Now if I smell dairy, it's like, ooh. I used to be a massive into cheese, and I cannot. I mean, I've tried all vegan cheeses, and sorry guys, but I have not found a vegan cheese that is remotely. So I just said, you know what, I'm not going to have it, and I don't miss it. Eggs. I mean, I used to love eggs in everything, because we've got lovely tofu, and that's replaced, like scrambled eggs and things like that. So I think it's really easier now than it must have been 20, 30 years ago. I mean, it must have been a nightmare. And I think I've learned so much, and I feel so much better. And can I just say, I lost a dramatic amount of weight initially, and I think it was coming off all the the animal fats, the milks, the cheese, the eggs, and I've never felt better in my life.
That's amazing.
So there
So
you go. That's my journey.
when you were suddenly didn't want dairy anymore, like
Yeah.
in the beginning, did you find it very difficult to kind of cut that out? How did you manage that?
I just said I'm not going to have it.
Yeah.
So for the first 2 or 3 weeks of I was ill, not ill, I was hungry, because what I wasn't doing wasn't balancing my meals correctly. So I really didn't know how to be vegan. So when it comes regards cutting anything out, it was just, I'm not going to do them for a month. And then when I got to the end of that month, I realized actually I didn't miss them at all. And I'd had, by the 3rd or 4th week, I've got great people that say, oh, try this, try that. Butter was replaced with a spread, which of course I never thought would happen, but it did. But recently I've found the Flora one, which is like butter. Yeah. So I can have my crumpets. I don't think there was anything that I really had a problem with. It was just in my head, I'm not going to do that anymore for the month. You know, I was going to be, oh yeah, I did it for a month. And here I am 3 years later. But what's come of that is everybody around me has changed their eating. So they've not become vegan necessarily, but they've reduced their intake of meat or dairy. They think about things. My son said to me, oh, well, I'm never coming to your house again for anything to eat. And yet he does. You know what I mean? So yeah, people I think realized I was serious about doing it. It's just what you do now. Yeah. So no real difficulty at all. The difficulty has only ever come if I've gone somewhere that isn't. So if I've gone to a hotel and I say, do you do a vegan menu? Sometimes they're like, but that's changing very rapidly. And it needs to change because there's a lot of us now. And they need to meet the market demand for vegan food. It's as simple as that, or they're going to lose out.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I mean, it's just, and I'm glad to be a part of that. So
what's the vegan scene like in Peterborough where you live?
we're really good here. We have a vegan market occasionally, and although I'm very old and I don't go out on the town like I used to, from what I'm reading, there's a couple of vegan restaurants in town, but there's also, you know, people have got the vegan menus out there. I'm hearing good stuff, yeah. And of course, all the shops are now got your vegan stuff. We're spoiled because we're quite a big city. We're quite a big city, so I don't know what that's like for people in other areas where it's, you know, but yeah, it's a good place.
That's awesome. So other than your son, you know, being a bit like, oh, I'm not coming to your house, how else did everybody else in your life react to you turning vegan?
I think they probably thought, yeah, it's gonna be one of those things. As I say, big shout out to Nadine Bin, who has been the mentor. I've looked to her for, and she says, have you tried that? Have you tried that? Oh, and so she totally supported me. My other friends supported me. I think a lot of them thought, you know, come the end of it will just tail off. And I think I have quite surprised people, but they know me, you know, they know that if I want to do something, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So is there anything that you do miss? You mentioned you don't really miss dairy at all anymore. Is there anything that you miss?
You know, there isn't, because there is, oh, no. So sorry?
What's your favourite plant-based food?
I like veggies, obviously, but I think it'd be tofu. Before I was vegan, I thought, oh, what is that stuff? And I think somewhere somebody said try it, and it was plain white tofu, and it was like, what is that? And of course now you can do so much with it. You can make egg mayonnaise sandwiches with it. Have you tried that?
I haven't yet, no.
Absolutely. If you like an egg mayo sandwich, guys, have a look. It's online out there. It's the real deal. I don't tend to go for the stuff like, you know, that is pretending to be something.
Right.
I think I did in the early days, but I love Indian food, and I traveled through India about 2 years ago with friends, all of whom, 3 of us were vegan, and 1 of us was veggie onto vegan, and we found it really, really easy to eat well. And so I love my Indian food, and so, and you cook that from fresh, don't you? You know, and so I don't really go towards any. The one thing I do absolutely have is the Flora. It's butter. Have you seen it in the blue packet?
Yeah.
I mean, when they brought that out, oh, girlfriend, I was like, yay, crumpets again. Do you like me? I like to see the fat. I like to see the butter on the toast. So that's probably my favorite thing. Yeah, absolutely.
It's awesome. So you mentioned a few of your vegan friends. Do you have quite a lot of vegan friends?
Seem to have more now than I used to. Yeah, so there's obviously Nadine and Mick. They're my 2 friends that are absolutely vegan. But what I've seen in other friends is that they've tended to sort of like look at vegetarianism or take out dairy and things like that. So no, I haven't got a massive amount of people that are vegan. Yeah, it's a mixture of, most of them it's vegetarian stroke meat, vegan. Not many I see eat meat anymore. They've looked at their diet. It's like, I have one friend, and he, you know, he tried going vegan, it didn't work out for him, so he's back to vegetarian. But he's kind of like, I said, you know, don't beat yourself up. Just by being vegetarian, you're making a difference. But it's better if you're vegan, obviously. No pressure. And I think people are gradually changing. And also the internet, we can see what happens in these places. We can see, you know, whereas, and I think that slowly changes people's minds. And when the very refreshing thing we're seeing on television now, of course, is adverts for plant-based foods. And that'll get into the psyche of people. And you know what? You're not weird if you don't want to eat meat.
Yeah.
You know, there's some good stuff out there. I mean, Richmond sausages, have you tried them?
Yeah, they're lovely.
I mean, wow, you know what I mean? Yeah, so it's going to take its time.
Yeah,
I think it's the way forward. I think there has been this consciousness awakening thing. And maybe, you know, when we read about things like foot and mouth, the way it travels, you know, bird flu and all those things, I mean, they are caused by animals being locked up, basically, together, you know, and we ingest that. That's another thing. You know, I don't want to touch stuff that's had a life like that. So it'll get there. It'll get there. I'd love to see, you know, I probably won't be here then, but I'd love to see like 20, 30 years ahead. I bet you there's a big shift.
Be on the other side.
I will. I'll be watching.
I agree. I think definitely it will get there. You know, and just the rapidness of watching, because I've been vegan myself for 4 years now.
Oh, right.
Just watching how rapid things went from when I very first started to now.
Right.
Like, it's really it's just going really, really fast, you know, and it's incredible. So I don't doubt at all that eventually, you know, we will get that vegan world that we all dream of.
Yeah, I mean, it's lovely, you know, to see young people. Young people are the future of this as well, because as they grow up with having vegan in their life, whether or not they are, but because it's there. I went to Edinburgh a couple of years ago, and what a great place to go for vegan food, you know, and there's lots of students there, lovely young people with all your ideas. And I thought, yeah.
So it sounds like you're quite a big traveller. Is that right?
I have travelled, yeah, I have travelled.
Where would you say is the best place for vegans that you've been to so far?
India.
India.
Yeah, definitely.
Where,
I'm predominantly vegetarian anyway.
yeah.
And they understand, that I think they're very open to people's beliefs. And there isn't, for instance, they'd go to give you a meal and you say, no animal in there at all. Okay, not a problem. It was just that they accept it, but they have so many different beliefs over there, like the Jains, for instance. They have an entirely different way of eating. I mean, they do, some of the religions do still eat meat out there, but we went to work at an animal sanctuary in Udaipur. Shout out to Animal Aid, they are absolutely brilliant.
Oh, I love Animal Aid.
Yeah, well, we worked there. I'll say we worked there. We went there for a couple of days, and the animals, and of course, it's no kill, absolutely no kill, because it's against the law to euthanize animals. And so that whole kind of vibe, that spiritual, it's not even spiritual, it's recognizing that animals are the same as us, that they feel, they experience pain, and so that was good for us. So India is a good place to go, I think.
So is that where you went? Was it in India that the Animal Aid thing was?
Yeah, it's in Udaipur. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we just got back literally as the pandemic was breaking in England. They had it over there. We just got out of India really in time. But I think when you go to a place like India, you actually see the care that people have for animals, even the stray dogs. People say, oh, those dogs are all running around. But you know what? People care for them. And I mean, we went to a little village one night and there was this really old dog, and they've made a bed for it and put covers over it. And where they have a real love and a real respect for the animal world. We could learn a lot from Indian people. I mean, people look at it and think perhaps it's not the greatest place on earth, but it's what's in their heart. They recognize the, I was going to say, humanity, the spirit in all of us. And we got to stroke buffalo, because buffaloes are wonderful.
Oh, they're lovely, aren't they, buffalo?
Yeah, they're gorgeous. And the dogs, of course, there's a lot of dogs at Animal Aid that have been hit by cars. So they have those little, where they strap them in and they have the wheels.
Oh, yeah.
So that they can get around. And yeah, they're just great people. Great people.
Sounds wonderful.
So yeah, but India is a good place for vegan food. Absolutely.
When you're at this animal sanctuary, did you have any really soul connecting moments with any of the animals? Or anywhere else? Have you ever had that in your lifetime?
What soul connection to animals? Yeah. Cats.
Yeah, I've seen a couple. How many cats have you got?
It's another one coming in now. Cats are, I cannot stand.
No, you've talked about her.
any type of cruelty. I think a cow. I was stood once, and there was this cow in a field. It was a calf, actually. When I say a calf, it wasn't a baby calf. And I looked at it and it just come across and it wanted to interact. And at the time I was vegetarian, so I was feeling all self-righteous about that. I wasn't going to eat this cow. But it came over and I realized that it would be eaten, and it would be eaten with, it was proper. I don't know why it was in there on its own. It was a male cow, so I don't know what they were going to do with it. But it was very young and it started to suck my hand.
Aww.
And it was a baby, and I think I started to think about things like that. And also, how we waste food, how animals are killed. And then I'm not going to name names, but I worked in an establishment and we were throwing food away but an entire salmon, you know, an entire salmon. Nobody touched this because it was, I don't know. And I'm thinking, what bloody waste, isn't it? You know, those animals of the one thing I cannot stand to look at, and that's when they bring like lobsters out. These animals have taken years and years to grow, and we do whatever it is we do with them and not even think about it. Yeah, I think when you become vegan, it's almost like going down the rabbit hole. You can't go back, can you?
No.
You really can't go back, because no, you really can't. I find it difficult if I go into a supermarket. I can't walk down the flesh aisle. I call it the flesh aisle. I can smell it.
Yeah.
Now, I never used to be able to smell it, but as I say, I think our palate changes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but it's a good journey to be on. The one thing that is overriding is as you get older, obviously your body's not as good as it used to, but I have a checkup every year with my doctor, and I don't have high cholesterol anymore. That dropped dramatically.
Wow, that's amazing.
And I can only put that because of cutting out all the animal. It has to be. And a friend of mine, Mick, that I spoke about, he's the same. His cholesterol's really dropped down. It's really dangerous for us to eat other animals.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, that's a good side of it as well.
Yeah, all these little added bonuses. That's what I love about veganism.
Yeah, there's loads of them.
It's not just animals we're helping. You know, we're helping humans.
That's
you
right.
know, we're helping ourselves. We're helping so much. Like, it's incredible, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So, I mean, you've already really. Oh, sorry. I've had to resort back to my using my tablet for recordings because my laptop's the sound's broken on it. So.
Oh right.
It's not the most sturdiest thing in the world. Better quality though, so that's good.
Where are you anyway? Where are you?
I'm in Folkestone.
Okay.
In England.
Yeah. Okay. Nice part of the world.
Sorry?
It's a nice part of the world.
Yeah, it's lovely here. I love it. It's very windy today, so if you hear any banging, that's what that is.
Stay safe, darling. Stay safe.
Oh yes, it's okay. Like, we died off a couple of days ago. We had a really, really big storm.
Yeah.
My friends, some of you watching might remember if you've seen all of my videos. My friend Andy, he was the very first person I interviewed. His shed flew away in his garden. So, and his fences. So yeah, it's been pretty savage, but it's back to normal today. It is windy, but I mean, I'm feeling it more here because I'm in a wooden shed. So I was
going to say, are you in the shed somewhere?
Yeah, I'm in a summer house at the back of the garden.
Yeah. Okay, right.
My office. So yeah. So I'm curious, have you ever been involved in any kind of activism?
In any kind of
activism?
Yes.
Well, tell us about that.
It wasn't vegan though. It was Black Lives Matter.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I thought it was important. I think it's many years ago I was a member of the CND, and I think I went marching. That was a long time ago though. But vegan activism, is that what you're referring to?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. And why not? Because I'm not very active. I'm politically, I'm more a keyboard warrior.
Yeah.
That's only because of my age. Now, if I was younger, like you lovely people out there, yeah, I'd love to get out there and do stuff. But yeah, it hurts now. So I'd rather sit and, but yeah, I did go to Black Lives Matter because I thought that was really important. And yeah.
That's wonderful. So overall, how would you say that veganism has impacted your life?
Massively, really massively. All for the good. as I say, my health is a lot better now. I've lost a lot of weight, which wasn't healthy for the cholesterol and everything that I had. I feel better in myself. How's it impacted? I feel better mentally, absolutely, because I think, I don't know whether being vegan is something that can almost like become something like it grows on you. It was one point before I was actually vegan where I put something in the pan and it was meat to fry, and I felt like I could smell an animal. And that was also the beginning of me looking towards vegetarianism. So yeah, I think it does impact you massively because it makes you look at things differently. When you talk about you look at stuff, and it's made me very sad, but not sad in a bad way, like I'm not depressed or anything. It's just sad that there are so many animals every day, you know, that we don't even think about. You and I do, and other vegans do, and perhaps vegetarians, but we walk through life and just never consider what we're putting in our mouths and where that story is. And I think that's massive with me now. You know, it's like, oh my God. So yeah, I think it changes your whole life. I think it has to, and so it should. It woke me up. It woke me up. You know, come on, you're 60 odds, Chris, and you know you've just walked through life almost with your eyes shut. And as I say, it was this one thing that my good friend Nadine put up, and it was dairy farming, and I just looked at it and it was like, I never knew that happened. I never knew that happened. And it was basically just the separation of the calf from the mother.
Oh, okay.
I say just, but that it wasn't graphic, it wasn't anything hideous. Yeah. It was just very upsetting on a level that was, you know, how would I feel if my child had been ripped away from me at 3 days old or 2 days older, and she had to wear some, or it had to wear some on its nose so it couldn't feed off of her. You know, it's like a ring thing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, have you not seen that, honey?
No, I don't think I have. No.
Right, it's like a plastic kind of thing, and it's got spikes on it. So when the calf goes in, it hurts the mother and she'll pull off.
Oh, that's awful.
They're out there. They're out there. I don't know whether it's in this country. I bet it is in this country. But anyway, it was that, and it was that, and I looked at it and I thought, this is just not right. We don't need to have animal food the way, because somebody said to me, oh well, we've been eating it since we were in them, you know, when we were living in caves. I went, we ain't living in caves anymore, are we? We have a choice now. Yeah. You know, back then, okay, don't get me wrong, back then we would have had to do that.
Yeah,
because we don't have to now, you know. And now when people come to my house, I don't say to them, I'm sorry, it's got oat milk in there. They just drink it. You know, it's become my normal. And the thing that I have noticed, if I inadvertently take sort of ordinary milk, I get a bad stomach. That tells me.
Yeah, they do say that once you cut out milk for a while, you do become intolerant to lactose.
That tells me everything. As a former nurse, I know that if my body's responding to something that acutely, it shouldn't be putting inside my body. So yeah, it's a wonderful place to be. It's being vegan, I think. I'm really glad I found it, or I was guided to it by my friend.
That's wonderful. I'm glad to.
Yeah, good on you, girl. Good on you.
Do you feel, because you're very spiritual, do you feel like even more strongly connected to the spirit world now that you're vegan?
Yeah.
Does it make a difference in that way?
I do, absolutely. I think if you're walking a spiritual, I say walking a spiritual path, sound like some, when, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like you start to recognize even the whole of even the trees, the plants, we're all part of this wonderful thing. Yeah. And just because we're at the top of the food chain doesn't mean to say we have to eat everything that's below us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Surely the greater intelligence, if that's what we're supposed to be, should be looking and caring for that, you know, other, because so yeah, it makes me look at things like, it's almost like I think that humans are like, should be guardians instead of raping the planet at every, you know, they should surely be going, and we need to care. We need to care for these creatures. We don't need to be eating I mean, you look at the elephant, biggest mammal, well, land mammal, I believe. It doesn't need protein. It doesn't have to go out and kill anything, does it?
No.
It eats plants. Look at the whale, another huge mammal. You know, we don't need to rape the planet. That's what's wrong. I think that's, you know, predators have always ate other animals, but there's so many of us now that we can't ever expect to have good animal welfare when you're feeding the amount of people food, meat, the way that we are. How many millions of animals die each day? That's what does my head in.
Yeah.
But that's a massive head doer for me, that all those animals were born, and the fact that they're born to die.
Yeah.
A part of
It's sad, isn't it? Really sad.
I punched a driver once because he had pigs in the back of his.
Oh no.
I was in Summerfield, right? I was in Summerfield, and I come out, and it was a red hot day, and there was this man. There was this man in this one of them things, and all these pigs and the little noses were coming out, and it was like, it was red hot, and I went round to I wanted to give them a drink of water. I mean, this is a big thingy. I went round and went smack like that, and I didn't realise that he had the window open, and I hit him in the face.
Oh no.
I was going to bang on. I intended banging on his window and go, look, give him a drink, you know, but I didn't. Right? And then, what'd you do that for? I could have been arrested, but it distressed me, these animals, and I knew what was happening to them. And it was the fact that it was such a hot day.
Yeah.
At the back, and he was sat there having some refreshment, and it just incensed me. Yeah, sometimes I think I have to keep my mouth shut.
So what did he do after you punched
But
him?
he just looked at me, and I think maybe because I'm quite small and I'm old,
yeah,
kind of got away with it, and I went, oh yeah.
that's the best. Thanks for sharing.
If you're out there, I'm really sorry. I did think that I never even thought anything. I thought the window was closed, and it's just like one of those, and it smashed me. Hey ho, never mind.
Oh, that's so funny. I love it. Oh dear. I've lost my trail of thought now. What was I going to ask next?
So yeah, I think being vegan's been a massively positive thing in my life. As you get older, things start to wear out. People said to me about, you know, what about calcium, you know, you're getting all of that kind of thing. And to be fair, I do believe that you can have unhealthy vegans.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I do. I did find that my B12 dropped. And so I take a supplement for that now. So I think we do have to take care of ourselves, because there's a couple of things that we can't get, and B12 is one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one can get it naturally now. I don't.
Yeah.
You know, meat is, it's just been pumped into them, so that's how they get in it.
Yeah. So I think it's just a win-win situation, and I hope that's the way the world is going, and it's all positive. It's all positive, you know. So
it's wonderful. So I'm curious about your mediumship stuff. Do you do, like, are you practicing that? as
Yeah, yeah.
or even a job?
Sorry.
Or are you practicing as a hobby, or are you doing it as a job?
Oh no, never do it as a hobby. It's a massive part of my life. I've had so many experiences, um, and I met a great bunch of people. We all came together quite by accident, and we all shared, I'll be honest with you, this is going back 10, 13 years actually, lovely people. And we started getting together. We came together quite by accident, and we all realized we had a love of anything ghosty or spooky or anything like that. So we all used to get here together and talk about things. And we thought, give it a go. And things started to happen. When I say things started to happen, we would get somebody to send in an article, like a ring, and we would read off of it. And we thought, this is, the feedback. And here we are 13 years later. All of us now are mediums. We don't charge. I will put that out there. I say we don't charge. If we do a reading for anybody, we ask for a charitable donation of between £5 and £10, but we don't take any money for ourselves. And it's nice. I've had the privilege of studying under the tutelage of Gordon Smith and other renowned mediums. I've learned so much off them. But what's been beautiful is the friendship that's grown up in our group. We are 6, one of which is again Nadine. So we've got three vegans in the circle, and they're great people. We have a lot of fun. We will be sitting later on tonight at about 8 o'clock. We sit every Sunday, and we've done that for 13 years.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And it's an important part of our lives. And
yeah.
It brings healing, I think, to people, knowing that this isn't the end of everything. But interestingly enough, I've always worried since I've become vegan, what happens to the animals? Yeah, especially these animals that nobody's ever cared for. I'm talking about, the ones that are in the factory farms and all the rest of it. I believe in an afterlife 100% because I've seen it, as in I've experienced it. What happens to them? And there's a wonderful, there's a lot out there about what does happen to those animals. And I'll tell you now, they go to a wonderful place. They absolutely go to a wonderful place. And there are people like vegans who are with them when they go through that dreadful experience. And the moment they are over, it's gone and forgotten. Their animals' memory. So I can take a little bit, and I think that's probably what I'm going to be doing when I die. So I'll probably be in some slaughterhouse, bringing them over. Maybe one day we won't have slaughterhouses, But yeah, mediumship. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people out there that, aren't mediums, and they will take money. They will take a lot of money off people that are looking for evidence. And that's not what we do. If we can help somebody and bring forth some evidence that says that loved one is still with them or still out there in the afterlife, then that's what it's about. Because that one thing can give somebody just that little step forward. I'm going to tell you a very, very quick story, if I may.
Go for it, yeah.
Many years ago, it'd be 23 years ago, a dear friend of mine died in a motorbike crash. And it was 2 weeks before his girlfriend had her baby. I mean, it was tragic.
Awful.
Anyway, it was about 8 weeks after he died, and I'd woken up about 5 o'clock in the morning. I mean, why did we wake up at that time? And I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I lived in a Victorian house, so I had to get up, go downstairs, go for a pee, come back. And as I got on the bed, he was there. He was there in front of me. And I said to him, excuse the French, what did you think when you realised you were dead? And it was the weirdest thing, because I didn't think it was abnormal. I never thought anything, you know, your dead friend is sitting there. And he said, it's her I feel sorry for. And I saw a picture of his girlfriend coming to my mind. Anyway, I got back into bed and thought, that was weird. But all day long, the desire to ring her and let her know that this had happened. And that night, it was a Friday night, I'll always remember it. And I say we were very young, we all used to go out on the lash, you know what I mean? And it was Friday night sort of thing. And we ended up in somewhere, and I was sitting opposite this clock and not having a good time. And I said to the friends that I was with, I said, I'm going home. This is before the days of mobile phones. I said, I need to phone her. So I'd already decided by the time I got home, if she didn't pick up by the third ring, that was it. I wasn't meant to tell her. She picked up on the second ring. I told her what had happened. The next day she came over. We went to the local spiritualist church, and I said to her, you might not get a message. Oh my God. I sat there thinking, please, please, nothing happened. We got up, we turned around and went to walk out, and the medium came over to me and she says, I need to talk to that girl. So off she went and had a reading. So anyway, over time, you know, she got on with her life. And it was 4 years ago, I think, when she said to me, she says, you remember that night, Chris? I says, yeah, I remember it. She said, do you know what happened that night? I said, no. I said, well, apart from what happened. She went, that you rang me, she says, just before I decided to kill myself.
Oh, wow.
I went, what? And she went, yeah. And she said, your phone call. And that's got nothing to do with me. I'm not special.
Yeah.
That was them working their magic. So yeah, they can do
incredible.
things. Yeah. And
it's
it's a beautiful story. And now she is at a wonderful stage in her life. And the little boy that she had, Tyler, he lives up in Scotland, and he's a lovely young man. And all she needed was that
clarity
bit to get her over and just get her onto that path. So, and yeah, I do think that being vegan is a sign of, I won't say it's a sign of a greater awareness, I won't say, and I do think that all ties in. And wouldn't it be great if the whole world was vegan?
Absolutely. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that story.
Oh, I'm sorry if I took your time with that, but it's
I love it.
Thing that, you know, you can't explain that kind of stuff. And it was, you know, it was only years later I realized the impact of it. So yeah, there you go.
That's amazing. So tell us a little bit more about your ghostwriting. Can we read these stories that you said that you write?
Ghostwriting? No, now you see, I write for other people.
Oh, okay.
So that's a ghostwriter. So say I was writing for Donald Trump, you wouldn't see, not that I would, ugh, what a man. I'm just taking those. So if I wrote his book, he would put his name on there, by Donald Trump. And it's the same thing. It's somebody has a story and they come to you and they say, can you write the story?
Oh, okay.
So you don't appear anywhere on it.
Yeah.
You might have some small credit at the start of it, but you're basically writing somebody's story for them. And at the moment, I'm working on an autobiography, and that's due to come out. He would like it out around the vernal equinox, which is about 23rd, I think, isn't it, of March.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, we can go for there. So hard work at the moment. I'm on the last chapter, and then we've got to pull it all together. So yeah. It's
Sounds
good stuff.
fun. Oh, I love it.
And during when I'm not doing that, I'm usually cleaning out litter trays for cats and feeding them.
How many cats have you got?
At the moment, I've got 4.
What are all the names?
We've got Theo over there. We've got Pepper over there. We've got Abu here. He's a kitten. And in the bedroom is a Bengal called Ben. and he's in there because he wants to kill all of the cats. So what happens during the day, he will start to scratch to come out, so I have to move all these there, and then he has to come out and have time out here. And
bless him.
so yeah, when I pass to the spirit world, I'll just be surrounded by cats because they're my favourites.
That's amazing. So let's move on to our final question. So if there's anyone in the audience that is kind of on the verge to going vegan but not quite there yet, what piece of advice would you give them?
Give it a try. Give it a try. Don't put any pressure on yourself. You know, if you find you can't do it, maybe it's just not for you right at this moment. The very fact that you're trying means you're thinking about it. But yeah, give it a try. Seek out people that will say to you, yeah, that's all right. Or, you know, just show you that maybe there's something there that you want to eat and you're missing it, might be able to offer. Get yourself involved, you know, with other people. If you live alone, you know, it's easier. Obviously, it's easier because you please yourself, don't you? When you've got family, obviously, that's kind of different. But yeah, just give it a try. See how it goes. Because nothing ventured, nothing gained. And you might find, like I did, and I never expected to get past that first month, never. And here we are, just over 3 years later.
Wait. Lovely. Thank you so much for chatting with me. I've really enjoyed our conversation.
It's been really nice meeting you, and hello to everybody, and good luck with your vegan journey.
Thank you. So if there is anyone that's watching that would like to get hold of you personally, how can they get in touch?
I'm on Facebook. Private message me. You've got my
I've got your Facebook, yeah.
Get them to come through you.
All right.
And can I just say, I don't want to be overwhelmed with this, but as a circle, we're looking for people to read for. And as I say, this is not an advert, although it might sound like
you are very welcome to advertise. I don't mind.
It would be absolutely done over Zoom at all times, so there's no danger, you know, nobody's in any danger of anything horrible, and it's just a small donation, and it will go to a charity, and it'll probably be an animal charity. So we just put the money away until such a time that we've got some to give. And yeah, come along and see what the experience is like. They're a nice bunch of people.
Have you got a website or anything for that?
Oh God, no. I'm not that professional. No. Maybe somewhere down the future, but no, you can contact me. If you want to contact me via Facebook, that's absolutely good. Go into the private messages and I'll link up with you there. Okay.
Fabulous. Yes, thank you very much again.
Take care, guys.
Thank you guys for watching. If you are already vegan, please do reach out to me. I'm always on the lookout for new star vegans to interview. You can find me on Facebook, Luna Bloomer, or email me on veganbloomers@gmail.com. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you soon. Much love.